Next, we backtrack and take a closer look at Jokowi's journey. And finally, 100 Days of Doraemon, we give you the scoop of this colorful and catchy exhibition. Hello and selamat berjumpa lagi. Welcome to today's Indonesia. From Jakarta, I am Luisa Kusnandar. Authorities said on Tuesday several bodies have been found near Pangkalan Bun, South Kalimantan, the area the missing plane was last seen at. The corpses were found 10 kilometers from the spot where the plane last communicated with air traffic control. They did not have life jackets on, and the National Search and Rescue Agency said the corpses were brought aboard an Indonesian Navy ship. This after authorities found red and white colored debris in the sea, which they said indicated the Air Asia plane. The airline went missing 42 minutes after taking off for a flight from Surabaya to Singapore on Sunday. It's been an eventful year for Joko Widodo, furniture maker turned 7th president of Indonesia. Jokowi, as he is commonly known, took the country by storm. After beating military man and opposition candidate Prabowo Subianto in the general elections, Jokowi and his new cabinet moved to implement policies considered hawkish by critics. Supporters, on the other hand, cheered when the pair pushed forward with a fuel subsidy cut, with what many are calling a nationalistic approach. Jokowi has outlined plans to boost domestic production, spur growth, and improve the country's fiscal balance to levels not seen in decades, and of course, stamp out corruption. Now we get perspective from our viewpoint analyst. Wimar Witular is here. He's a former presidential spokesman, now running his own communications firm. Wimar, it's good to see you back on set.
It's good to see you, Luisa.
Well, Wimar, Jokowi has more of a nationalistic approach for in terms of economy for the future in Indonesia. Do you think that the new government reforms will be restrictive, too restrictive?
You must remember he has only been in office less than 3 months, so it's really hard to judge the thrust of his policies. But as far as concrete results are concerned, it's really fantastic and unprecedented. No president I remember in our history has done so much in so little time. At least 4 things I remember. One, he went to the forest of Rio and immediately revamped the whole policy on the management of the peat forest to avoid further forest fires. And then he gave an, what do you call it, grasi in Indonesian? Anyway, he released from detention a woman who had been accused of being communist, etc., but actually is just an activist. So he has on the side of human rights. Eva Banda is her name. And then he has combated illegal fishing to a degree that some people are complaining that it's too harsh and too fast. I don't think so, but it's effective and everybody is jumping. And then, of course, the Lapindo mud flow.
Yes.
In 8 years, SBY has just making gestures, but Jokowi, in just this short period, has immediately come to a very practical solution.
He finally have done, he definitely have done a lot of actions for this past few months and have positive responses. But what do you think would be the major homework for Jokowi next year then?
Well, first is to consolidate all those instant victories into a long-term policy and further institutionalize his government. Some of the parts of the government have not been formally institutionalized yet, like the president's office, like the climate change mechanism, like many other things. In fact, he's disbanded some of the institutions. But I think he should give permanence to these efforts by sharing the load with a lot of other people. Now creative people, imaginative people are supporting him. Soon we must have ordinary people also.
Well, he has a lot of support.
He does.
A big support so far.
He does.
Now, Jokowi's medium-term economic agenda is certainly pretty ambitious. And how successful do you think the government will be in achieving it? We're talking about 7% economic growth next year, and
it's ambitious,
yes,
unless you notice that one part of his plan is to eradicate corruption. Without corruption, the 7% is feasible. We were not able to engage policies which could increase it beyond 6% because so many percent is allocated for corruption.
Yes.
Now there's no allocation for corruption. It's easy to manage it efficiently.
Well, About corruption, though, do you think Jokowi will succeed in battling corruption?
He will succeed in taking up more cases than his predecessors. It will never go away, of course, but he will get rid of the more conspicuous cases and punish the corruptors harshly.
Okay, we're still talking about next year here. How much of his economic agenda do you think, do you see materializing in 2015, you think?
Well, since his appearance is ambitious, but his plans are not fully announced, I think those plans can be adjusted as he goes along. There's no possibility yet now of things totally falling apart. He has not established targets, if you notice. So he's on a safe course.
He's on a safe course?
He's on a safe course.
Okay,
he will not crash.
Do you think that his opposition is expecting to see him fail?
They are hoping, but their hope is receding fast every day. That's why his opposition have gradually moved to the side and left the true believers out in the mud, out in the cold. Yeah, the opposition is getting weaker and more fragmented.
Well, there's one more thing that Indonesians are a bit worried and reluctant about, which is about the new fuel prices. Do you think the new fuel prices will be implemented anytime soon?
Well, they have to. It's past the point of no return. And it's also tied into the global developments so that nobody knows exactly where the parameters are for new oil prices. You just stick to a numerical point and hope that the global forces will align in favor of those decisions.
Do you think the transition will be as smooth as what has happened this year?
Transition from what to what?
To the new fuel prices?
Oh yeah, the worst I think has been past. People now accept that the prices we had were unrealistic, that you have to bite the bullet, so to speak, and that so far it's been okay. Of course, the social programs have to be accelerated in their delivery to the people.
Okay, so we are expecting for good things to come in 2015.
We are, yes.
Hopefully. Okay, Wimar Witular, thank you so much for coming and thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Luisa.
Now to our first look at the weather. I'm still looking at a gloomy picture here in the capital.